I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Roll call, Bud. Present. Barb.
Here.
Alan Robbins.
Present and accounted.
Tamitha.
Here.
Leslie.
Here.
Ken.
Present.
Matt.
Here.
Jim.
Here.
Alan.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, you've had time to read the minutes. If there's no questions or corrections on the minutes, we need a motion to accept them.
I have one correction, sorry. Under the community relations part, the woman's name in parentheses, it's not Michelle, it's Rochelle with an R.
RACHELA.
Yes, yes,
Okay, I'll make that change.
thank you.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes with a correction.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have the bills. Gary, is there any more bills?
Yes, we had one change, added $31.99. That brings total May payments up to $13,997.58.
I move that we pay the bills as published and amended.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Well, before we start, I'm sure as a council, we'd like to thank all of you that took the time to vote and hopefully help pass issue 2 because we get so much money from that. It would be a shame if we lost that. So thank you to the voters that took the time to vote that day.
89. That was it. 89 residents voted,
It was a very low turnout.
very low.
Yeah, that wasn't real heavily
The
advertised.
school levy was on there though.
Did it pass?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Okay, welcome back to the summer people that we haven't seen for a while. I know there'll be more of you next month. Okay, so we will go to safety, Alan.
Yeah, we have Assistant Chief Boltzmann here with us today to get the fire department report.
Okay.
Fire department? Yeah.
You all got copies, correct?
Yeah.
82, April, a little busy month for us, almost 3 a day. See if that continues. Next page gives you your breakdown on percentages, how many and the percentages, so. We have up in Medina a couple times, they've had fires, two right on West Liberty Street, and then we're Earhart too, right? That must have been May, early first or second day of May or something. But, shows 3 fires and various other times. Our turnout time, 149, still going down a little bit. I think younger people have got to hurry up to get out there. So, I don't know if we get much better than that. I mean, it still takes time to get there. So. Usually not the squad calls, they're in it alone. I mean, they don't have to get dressed up, they're ready to go, but, for fire calls, it's different, you have to be dressed up. They really frown on, dressing on the run because you're not seat belted. Some of us have done that for years, but not really, not supposed to do that, but, next page, incidents by district. Chippewa Lake, 11 calls. So it's just cyclical, doesn't make much rhyme or reason. Nighttime, much slower than daytime this past month, so 53 to 29. So, on your page, I know the chief scratched out the mutual aid. we've had new officers too, and I think it just got grouped up in the reporting system, but, we received mutual aid 5 times. A lot of that's when we're out on a call and we get a second call for another, first responder in medical room. We gave mutual aid to Medina twice, Harrisville Township once, Chatham Township once, and Lodi once, so. 5, we gave 5 and we got 5, all even. Our breakfast was pretty good, 3 Sundays, so everybody that came, thank you, and, it was 600, over 600 people twice, and 500, over 500 the third time, I don't know the exact numbers, but we only did 3, because of Easter this year, so we're pretty happy with the turnout, was just great. Kept us busy those Sundays.
Did you get a better turnout that time of year than February like you used to have? No, we used to have in February, March.
Yeah, and you know, when we're not as crowded in the new station, it's, you know, the serve line is on both sides, so we get people, that all helps, so. Yeah, and people don't feel compelled to eat and run because there's room. And we put a lot of tables on, people, you can see people sitting and talking with family and friends and neighbors and all that, it's so, it's a nice thing we do, you know. It's a lot of work, but it's we actually have fun doing it. Yeah, we're pretty busy with kids last week. We had a lot of, like pre-kindergartners come in for tours. The one week, I think we had 4 or 5 of them, groups that came through, and then, still hiring some young people. Well, not just young people, but, this month we're getting 3 more. We're probably about done hiring unless we find somebody really special. Of course, you know, we went from staffing 2 to 3, so we need more people to put those hours, and we're restricted on how many hours we can work. You know, with the staffing people can't, you work too much and then the federal law, you have to start giving them benefits. And then the Ohio law, I think you have to pay them overtime if they go over so many hours. So we have to restrict their hours, so we just needed more people. And all these people are EMT firefighters, and they're all looking to go to medic school. So that's why we hire them, because they have that, they want to do that, and we're like, great, look like a good candidate. So your hydrants are on hold because they drained the tower at Ryan and Chippewa, and they're doing refurbishing it inside and out, I guess. So they asked us not, they didn't ask us, they told us, 2 hydrants down in Chippewa and the Glens because of lack of volume of water, and so we're gonna hold off. They said for a month or month and a half, that was a week ago or so, sometime in mid-June, we'll probably go get up there, we'll put signs up, we'll let you know, Mayor, and you get the word out. I don't know if you want to put it on Facebook about
Yeah, we have the neighborhood watch list too.
and it'll take us probably a good week to get Chippewa and Glenn's done. So,
There's a lot of water running down Heather Edge.
what's that?
There's a lot of water running down Heather Edge.
Well, yeah, it's had a water main break on the other hand, so. After they did the culvert, and then a few days later, they're back. Well, there's one set of guys doing the culverts, and then the sanitary guys are back doing the water main break, I guess. I know they're fragile. They tell us all the time, be gentle on those hydrants around here, because
That's major. So any questions from the audience? For that, I guess there's actually a mutual aid going to Seville.
Right.
One to the west.
they're down on Greenwich, they had a kitchen fire down on Greenwich, down there, just real close to the firehouse, I guess, so. I believe it's under control by now, but,
Thank you.
okay.
Yeah, the breakfast gives a real good sense of community with the people sitting around talking, so thank you for it. We have Debbie Hardy with us for deputies. April, targeted 80 hours, 74 will work. Miles long, 449, gallons of fuel, 13.4. Already had 24, Yarborough 25, 74 hours. Next month, hours moved to 100. That goes through September, back to 90 at 80, with reduced hours. On deputy activities, I'll just read that. Disturbance or fight, 2. Extra patrol, 66. Victor watch, 2. Building checks, 2. Breathing problems, 3. Criminal damage, mischief, vandalism, 1. Parking complaints, violations, 2. Standby assist, general escort, 2. 6-person, 1. Stroke, 1. Traffic stops, 4. Total of 86 activities for the month. Catching reports of some catalytic converter activity between Glenn's and here. I can't verify any of it. They all seem to happen 45 days ago. Deputy Harvey wasn't aware of anything. As always, if anything happens, if you can get a description of a car, vehicle, a license plate.
The main thing is call the police in the first place.
Right, but do it
Seems
with.
to be a problem with that.
Right, but always have some details in front, so you can, we can do a follow-up, so. Anything else on your side?
Nothing.
Deputy Harvey has 11 more months as an official deputy, retired on that, and indeterminate yet as what his status will be after retirement. Could possibly still be retained as one of the deputies for Chippewa Lake, but there's a lot of things that are moving around at that point. Anything from council or the audience?
Alan, is that number right? It says 40% for the month. Hours targeted was 80.
No, that's not correct. I think, I apologize. 74, 80 is probably 90%.
90-some.
I'll check. Thank you for catching. That's all I have for, the other was a siren. Has been very active.
Let's all remember to thank Alan and, you know, those of you that know Christopher, our other little hero, that thing went off, as most of you know, twice the other night. I think it's gone off 3 times in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, second time put me into the house, as I've heard several other people, so thank you for the warning. They give, dispatch initiates that at the end of every month, or after they do the initial test of the first Saturday of the month, they get a report. The report came back, everything, the one that I need to get clarified, as they said, the power was a failure. This is a solar powered, so there's no electric lines. I think it's because it's a solar powered, I need to get that qualified from the report that appears that everything's working fine. And from that grant to receive, I still have, probably 30 months to close that. But once we get through another couple months, make sure everything's working right, then I'll close that grant out for Gary. And that's all I have. Thank you.
So we need some feedback from people once they're out on the lake on Saturday when it's tested to see how well they can hear it.
I had several people comment to me directly about, I don't know that they were necessarily on the lake. On that last told me, and Crow back here.
A friend of mine is on the other side of the lake and he posted a video and you could hear the siren in his video.
Okay.
Well, there was a boat on the other side, like a fishing boat that was there. Didn't see that coming over the trees because you can't see it when you're that close to the trees. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that guy is not moving. That siren went off and that guy beat to that dock and I watched it go. It was just a little fishing boat, but he had no clue that storm was coming because when I've had that happen to me, when you're that close to the trees, you cannot see that darkness behind you. And, but boy, he did hear it because we watched him go flying.
I am hearing a second siren, but I don't know if I'm hearing an echo. Does anybody know for a second?
So the video that they posted across the lake, he said he could also hear Westfield's.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
There's
that
supposed to be
it's good.
one at 42 and 162 at the old fire station too. That one had been working for a while. I don't know if it still is.
There's 2 of them I heard. One was going off before ours did. It was was, you know, you have to do a rotation type thing, it had been up and down like 2 or 3 times before ours even went off.
That's a good point, because it should be activated, if they're activated by dispatch, it should be all at the same time, so I'll double check that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a bunch of switches or a keyboard or whatever.
Our siren does do a 360 rotation, so, you know, you would have, you know, oscillation in the volume.
And the one that was going off before ours started was doing that too.
Could you tell the direction it was coming
It
from?
almost sounded like it was coming from the township firehouse, but I don't know if there's one over that way.
I'll double check. Yeah, there is one at the old station.
Yeah, there's one at the new one, but there's one at the old one.
Okay, I'll double check that. So, thank you.
So again, see, Alan, all your talks to us, all of a sudden, oh God, there it goes again. And look what happened, you might have saved the fisherman's life.
That's right.
It's kind of ironic, it was a couple years ago, but the top bass fisherman was killed in a lake down by Columbus in a storm, and it wasn't notified, so you would think, we always think fishing guys would be alert to all that stuff. It's not true at all. That's all.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Now we'll go to zoning.
Zoning report for May. Just a couple things. AJ started the tree work. He's got most of it done. Most of the trees are removed. He still has to come back and do the big one up on Bungalow Bay. He had to put in an order with the electric company because those lines are too close for him to work on. So whenever that work order goes in and they come and shut it off, he's planning to schedule to have the crane and everything in for that.
It's gonna happen tomorrow morning, Jim.
Is it tomorrow? Oh, okay, I haven't heard. Thanks for that. And he still has some stumps to grind. And then I have a few permits, 225-005 at 54 Bungalow Bay. There's a permit for a driveway. 25-006 at 479 Shorefield, it's a permit for a fence. And 25-007 at 112 Bass Bay for a permit for a pergola. And that's all that I have.
We did find some other, addresses with some maintenance issues. We're gonna issue some complaints this evening.
We're gonna head out.
Here's this one.
What are you gonna go do, look for more trees, cut down?
No more trees. He found a tree.
Oh, okay, well, your work is done.
Small. Maybe we can get AJ to chop it out. But that's all that I have.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Leslie, you got anything else?
No, just the notices that they're gonna take one. Something else I did notice tonight though, this right outside here, this is where the woods are. We were driving by in the golf cart and there are piles of freshly dumped grass there.
I
And,
think I might know where that came from too.
yeah,
Right across the street.
yeah, potentially, I mean, without catching them, how can, I don't know what else to, I'm just
It's
reminding
pretty
you.
obvious it's done,
Yeah,
but that's not a me thing.
yeah, I didn't know the.
I can check and see.
Zoning or parks or dumping, it's a park and it's dumping, I don't know, there's no mention that I saw it.
Apparently, there's only much ponds over that way.
Right.
Sounds like a sheriff issue for me.
I could check to see
Deputy
if it
Medina
shows.
Township
Yeah.
Police actually right there. Or Medina City.
You're correct, yes.
They're over on Hunter Run right now, or Hunter Drive. They're occupied. I could check the cameras and see if it shows up. I think I know where it's coming from.
The hell, I can't repost that. No, nothing.
If you take the grass and you put it back in the driveway, and if it ends up in the same spot where it was, it would they know where it came from.
Give you the colors.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Why don't we post it, no dumping.
I mean, I think that would be appropriate right there where the dumping is happening. I mean, because I thought the same thing, but I think we should have a sign there. I mean, we see you dumping stuff here, stop doing it. So,
And we had all that conversation about the
well, and
signs
there's,
at the beach.
there's somebody close by here that told me they actually saw people dumping. So, I didn't think of that until I was by today and saw it.
I don't know if we have any signs, but if we don't, why don't we get a couple? And just post it.
Right.
Who wants to get the signs?
I'll look into it. I don't know if we have any in the shed. If we don't, we'll go forward.
Do you have Keith's connection from the county highway?
It's have an ordinance on it. We haven't,
Yes,
we just did an ordinance not long ago.
where is this exactly? Is it on
It's on
At the end of the-
right here.
village property?
At the end of the parking lot.
Yeah.
It's in Lafayette
Between there and
Township.
the pond.
What's here is you can put up a sign, you have an ordinance.
It's adjacent to the.
Right.
We can get an extra no dumping sign too for by the beach.
Okay. I just take the inventory, I haven't been in there in a while. I'll take a clump with me in case there's something in there.
Anything else for zoning?
Am I forgetting anything?
I don't know, are you?
No, I don't think so.
You had a couple things last month. I don't know if you're ready for the short-term rentals and all that.
Yeah, I can talk about that.
Alan can talk about the
Yeah, I
short-term
can
rentals.
talk about that.
Well, there is a bill pending, it hasn't been passed, like we mentioned last month, but there's a bill in the Ohio Senate that would not allow you to prohibit short-term rentals, you have to allow them. But it did have,
We weren't gonna prohibit them, I just think that we need to communicate with the owners better.
Find out who they all are.
right, it does allow, the bill allows you to regulate them, like registration and
Right,
inspection,
that's what we
et cetera.
discussed last month.
So that's where that stands. It's the second bill in the legislature down there, so I think it's gonna get passed eventually.
Did you have an example from one of the villages or cities?
Yeah, Seville, yeah.
I've got other examples too.
Yeah, Seville has a really good plan, but I mean,
Yeah.
really,
I like it.
I mean, the problem that we're having are zoning related problems. So I really just think some enforcement would be good.
Also, if it's disturbing the peace while in parties, there's other remedies.
Right,
Well, the other thing is, we don't know if, some of the owners of these places are relatively new to the village. We don't even know if they know the rules.
Right.
one of them, the one we're having a problem with is an LLC. And, Jim reaches out to him and he said, well, I'm not the owner. He's like, you're the owner of the LLC. So, technically,
You can charge an LLC with a violation and they can be fined.
we're getting to that.
I think we just need to find people. I like to put Alan to work.
Me too.
Give him 5 days.
That's all. So, yeah.
Okay, community relations, Cam Free.
Don't have a whole lot. The newsletter did go to the printer, so don't send me any more stuff, big changes, because I can't change it. I should have it within the week to distribute, and if I have any helpers or volunteers to distribute it, contact me, please. Our next children's event, I would like to do at Point Park. I want to do it on June 7th, and I want to do crafts. I noticed the last couple events that I've had, we've got an age gap in kids. We've got a lot of little kids, and then we've got some older kids. So I wanted to do an arts and crafts type thing with flowers and planting, a terrarium, that kind of stuff. I did that years ago, and the kids really enjoyed it, so I'm gonna do that again. My question for you is, if it rains that day, is the building available on June 7th?
More than likely, it's a
Okay.
weekend.
It is, it's a Saturday morning.
Yeah, so, I mean, I didn't bring my calendar tonight.
Okay, I mean, that's the last resort.
You wanted it at the end of May, right?
Yep, whatever you
Yeah,
do.
it should be,
Okay,
Wait, I think 22nd.
yeah.
What's that event at Cross Point on June 7th, Alan?
That's a,
What time of day is that,
there's a cornhole tournament at 1, and then meal at 5 o'clock, and 6 o'clock is raffle or event benefiting the historical society, so.
So
Okay.
you'd be,
Not in the morning.
Yeah, I'm gonna do 10 a.m., so I'm not doing a mid-afternoon, I was gonna do a morning thing.
Morning, I think you'd be okay.
Yeah, it was cooler, if we're gonna be outside and it's gonna be a hot day, who knows what it'll be on June 7th? It'll be cooler. We're gonna be outside. And that's actually all I have.
are you gonna have them plant things, didn't you have the garden club? Didn't the garden club help with that last time?
I did, I set up with the garden club years ago. It was the first year I was on council, and the garden club actually did their sale here. And it was successful. We had quite a few kids show up for it. So I wanted to try and do it again, because there's a lot of like 4-year-olds to 2-year-olds and, well, some that are still being carried, so. And there's not as many, 6, 7, and 8, I don't think. So I want to try it out again, see how it goes.
Sounds cute. Okay, anything else?
No,
Okay, we'll go to building and utilities, Barb.
Nothing much going on, right? Got the Christmas lights down finally. Gonna probably have to replace some of them, they weren't working when I took them down, so we'll have to get some new ones next winter. Voting went well. Thank you to Bud. I filled out that form, gave them my information, and they called Bud anyways. And then they show up an hour, 2 hours earlier. They call me and say, well, we're gonna be there between 11:30 and 12:30, so I'm sitting at home waiting. And then Bud called me and said,
They've done that forever.
Everybody calls Bud.
And they always say they're gonna be there one time and then they're another, they always call them first. It's some kind of tradition.
same thing happened on Wednesday when they came and picked them up. I'm sitting at home waiting. Bud said, they're done. And then I think he put the tables back too, because when I left here on Tuesday night, I didn't move the tables back because I was gonna vacuum before I put the tables back. And when I came in today, they were back, so I'm assuming you put the tables back too.
I did.
Thank you, appreciate that. Should have left you a note to vacuum too.
I know where it is.
Yeah. So thank you for that. The carriage lights, the online account has been opened, and Gary has ordered those carriage lights, and they should be available to be picked up soon, and we'll get them on the building. And the other thing, I guess, that I have is just that the meter and the electric has been connected to the pole by the swamp, by Reese's Pond. So that is ready to go.
Oh, I'm sorry. Say again.
There's electric and a meter
I was
on
gonna
that
ask
pole
about
down
that.
there.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's good to
we're
go.
calling it the pond house.
The pond. Sorry. Slipped. It's- So, but I don't, see, this was interesting because we had said like, whoa, let's encumber a lot of money because it was so expensive to do it down at Point Park. And I do believe Thompson Electric may have come by and just kind of looked at it and gave the information to Ohio Edison about what needed to be done and perhaps didn't bill us.
So far, no bill.
And Ohio Edison would not do any work down at Point Park until we paid them first. And I haven't heard a peep about anything about billing for connecting this and putting a meter up. So,
could be different because there was power there
Well, I
once before, and now it's kind of a reconnection.
Just a turn, yeah.
well, but even down at Point Park, because it was like,
That was all brand new though, because we
not
had,
all of it was.
we had to
'cause it
take
was-
away what we had.
They took that one light, whatever, down, they weren't supposed to, but, so I don't know what is going on with that, but
Well, maybe you shouldn't
I'm not,
complain about it at a meeting that they could listen to and somebody else say, oh my God, we forgot to bill it.
I don't think Amy Hopkins is watching, so.
We never know.
0 people watching, they're all here.
So I, whatever,
Yeah,
it's, that thing is heavy, so I have no idea how we're gonna get that in there.
yeah, there's more of that. Also,
There's two of them, but
two-
that-
There's also 2 big boxes that are in the shed now too. So.
We're gonna do a huck fin raft and dig it out.
No, I'm pretty sure that it's, most of it is on land. And that's where the electricity is, and that's all, it's on land. And then it goes out to the pond, and then it stays there, so it's not, you don't like install it every year.
Interesting.
But I don't have the details yet, but I will.
Okay. That
Get
should
in the
be-
water.
Don't get in the water. No, you're getting in the water.
There's no water in that.
Well, I heard there was no water.
So,
There will be though.
but that, and I want to thank Alan Horning because he just was real critical in, contacting Thompson. So he worked for them, so he made the contact there and they were out pretty quick and
Good.
having a retired electrician around is helpful.
Yep, so we would have to install the units and then obviously call out another electrician, maybe the same person,
And then,
and then hire, I don't know, I've never,
I don't know how it gets connected,
yeah.
extension cord.
So I think it has to be more permanent probably, but.
So we'll see, but it's all set, ready to go. So you'll probably get like a new bill.
Right, yep, yep.
So there's outlets on there. There's outlets you can plug into. Oh, probably it's extension cord. I guess we'll find out. I don't know.
You can always ask the person that owns the pond you looked at.
Yep, that's true.
Take a look at that system.
Mhm.
I think that's all I have.
Okay. Parks, Ken.
Beach related, opening day is Saturday, May 24th. Beach passes are not needed for that weekend, as every year it's open to the public for free. We have 10 beach attendants hired, well, 8, but then there's 2 interviews going on tonight, so I'm feeling optimistic that we will now have 10. And the season kickoff meeting will be Thursday, May 22nd here, and Gary will be here, cracking a whip, making sure everything's taken care of.
What time?
It's gonna be 5 o'clock. And then followed by beach cleanup. So it's gonna be beach cleanup directly after. So I have everything needed. And on Bungalow Bay, there was I had a couple complaints that there was an S bracket that was bent. And Keith Riedel, he lent his services and went down and straightened that out for us. Actually curved it, didn't straighten it out, go straight. So that was, that's done, and that's where our community dock and kayak launch has been installed. And I want to thank Howard Wolf, John Sandor, and Eric Rommel for all their help with that. So that definitely was kind of wasn't the best day to be out there, but we got it done. And of course, as we're talking about the pond guy equipment, our pond system, that has, I spoke with Nate in regards to the chemicals we're putting in, and he feels he doesn't need to comment on it at all. So it's really not his place to do that, but he says it's an interesting concept, and I think it's gonna work out well. I'm excited about that.
He also told me if you have anything you need to dump out of the pond, that you could use that park property right there.
Yeah, he mentioned that, yep. Yeah, that's great if we need to dredge it out or something in the future, but hopefully this takes care of it, we won't need to do that. Unless, with a grant or something that'll be less expensive.
How many beach attendants are returning beach attendants from last year?
I think she said 3, 4,
Okay,
I believe so. Oh, that's for like
the new ones have to do the online
Okay.
course.
okay.
But did all the beach attendants do the online course last year?
No, they
None of
didn't,
them?
none of them did.
2 or 3 did,
So they just didn't do what they're supposed to do.
but
Okay,
this
so
should be a requirement.
that's gonna happen at the meeting, I think.
If they're not lifeguards, why is it a requirement? I'm just curious.
Oh, not CPR.
It's not CPR,
This is
it's
the
the
Gary
village
thing?
employee
Oh.
course that we
Yeah.
had.
Well, we
Yeah.
had to look at.
I don't know what we're doing about the CPR thing, because the problem is it comes up so quickly. Like it's here before, like there's nobody hired right now technically. There are, but there aren't. So, gotta get them hired, gotta get them trained and set up, and then we're throwing on them that they have to be CPR certified. So, I don't know, I mean, how does everyone feel about that? I love the concept they have, it's just hard to manage.
The concept is nice of them being CPR certified, but they don't technically have to be because
Right.
they are not lifeguards. It's just nice
It's just
to
an
know
added
they
bonus.
can do something if they were in an emergency situation.
And it's nice, I like it, it's just really hard to manage, hard to get all that together. I'll talk to Kelsey and see how she feels about that.
I do know the
She's
fire
the one
department,
managing.
when they did that with the kids last year before, they said it was their best class they'd ever had.
Yeah.
It was the most inquisitive, the
Well,
most
maybe we'll
questions.
make time for
They
it.
said it was a great class.
It'll be after, because the kids are actually still in school that first week. So it's gotta be after that time, maybe on a weekend, one day, I mean, somebody's gotta work the week. Well, you could, I guess, the people that already took it last year, the returning ones could cover. But yeah, let's shoot for it. Let's shoot for doing that. I think it's a nice thing. And then they're certified, so. What else am I in here? The lake, permit applications are on the village website, Facebook, and they've also been emailed. And the stack is available at the post office. I also put about 10 over here, double-sided. The public sale will be May 17th, 2 to 4 here, Community Center. And thus far, the proceeds to date, Park District docking income is $4,050. Village income is $2,831, totaling $6,881. That's good. That's positive. Unfortunately, the keys are on back order. They thought they had them in stock. They turned out they only had about 17 of them in stock, so they had to call the company, and then, there's just a backlog. We should get them in the next couple of weeks. But it's not a big deal. We're still selling the spot, selling the number, and then, obviously, when we get the key in, they're going to get that number that they have assigned to them. Yeah, that's it. Anyone have any questions? Yes.
Are we not mowing the park on Briarwood anymore?
That was put on pause, not for any particular reason. It just was, put on pause.
I mean, I cut it last week, but it's.
Oh, mowing, is that what you said? I didn't hear you. No, we're supposed to be, yeah, I'll let Brandberg know. I mean, that should be in his
We
rotation.
did it about every 2 weeks last year, and that kept it looking pretty decent, so.
Yeah.
But he hasn't cut it once yet.
Okay, well, good to know. I'll shoot him a text message and let him know, dude. I don't know if you forgot about it or.
Yeah, I don't know, I cut it a week ago Friday.
Yeah, that should be on the rotation. But we are still gonna do something with that. It's just,
And
priorities.
keeping on that, in the next few weeks, I will be moving a lilac bush over there.
Okay, good, yeah. But I appreciate you helping and, keeping an eye on that and keeping the upkeep when it needs to be kept up. But yeah, we'll make sure that gets back on the rotation.
Yeah, I don't know if we forgot about it, or if we just didn't think it needed it yet, or what.
Yeah, good.
Jim hasn't been well. He cuts the lot next to us, between us and he just did it today, and it's been, and you could tell that it was long. And I think it's because he hasn't been healthy in the last month or so.
Okay.
But he said he's doing a little bit better.
Oh, he hasn't been feeling well, is that what he said? Okay. I know there was I had some comments about, Point Park. Yeah, so, good old, I mean, I'll reach out to him as well and see.
Brandberg had a shingles.
That's personal. I don't think we should.
Okay, I hear you.
It was.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. So, yeah, anything else?
Have you said anything to him about mulching?
No.
I've had that conversation.
Okay.
We're gonna take a wait and see attitude about the mulch
Where at? Where you?
everywhere.
Oh, everywhere just
Everywhere.
mulching, okay.
I think the beaches, the beach and park are the two things that most people are around, is probably the most important.
Well, we've had a wet spring, a cold spring, and Tom and I agreed that we just take a breath and then see what we wanna do. If not all, then part.
Because that's a big price ticket.
Where do we mulch at the beach? Or, you said the beach?
Along
Yeah,
the
along
side.
the walkway, we planted tulips along, or daffodils.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
And Bob
On the other
looking
side.
for grasses put along that fence, which if he finds them, we're looking for some for free.
I have some I can split.
We just dug some out and pitched them in the woods.
I just said so.
Okay.
You should give him some of those canes.
Oh,
Yeah.
the woods are here, Barb?
Maybe put some on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Do you want
If
peanut
other
bulbs?
people
How
have-
sunny is it there? Because I have peanut bulbs too.
Those have to be
I'll
dug up
check
every
with-
year.
Yeah, but I mean, if I don't give them away, I'll end up throwing them away because I dig them up every year. when I
Okay,
plant
I'll
them.
check. Kathy, Schmidt and her husband are the ones that usually plant those for me, so I'll check with her
Okay.
and see if she, usually we put them around the totem pole.
Just so we're all on the same page, I will interface with the lawn mowing service. So we don't have a handful of people.
Okay, that's right, that you did take on that responsibility, so you want to address that? Okay,
Yeah, I'll take care of that.
that way,
I just think for the 4th of July especially, and sometimes it doesn't get till the end of the summer, and I think, why bother with that?
Well,
And they don't have to do a heavy covering, just a light.
again, it had to do with expense, had to do with, I just told him to take a breath, we'll get together. And now that you guys are back, I'll gather up your other half, or say your better half.
Yeah, Bob fell out of the truck today, that little,
did he?
yeah.
Oh, geez, how was I gonna do
Oh,
it?
God, he scraped his face, his nose, he said, I can't go tonight, he looks like that. He's okay.
The abuse has to stop, yeah.
So
The
if,
abuse has to stop.
if for those of you in the audience, if you have a pet spot you think that really needs some attention, holler at me and we'll work through that. I'm just trying to manage our money.
Speaking of spending money, that I did not include in my budget is, we're probably gonna need some sand. We have
Or I can mow the grass.
mow the grass at the beach. So, so I'm gonna see what,
How long
I don't
since
think
we
I've
got
been-
sand? It's been a couple of years.
That's a long time, because I've never ordered it myself. I think Sarah might have got a load. What happened is we had, when we took the benches out, we pulled all that sand out from against the wall, and that got us through. But I was there the other, putting in our kayak launch, and it could use some ice. A lot of people mentioning that last year.
We haven't
I think it
had
might be
sand
time.
since before I started, and I started in 2020.
Yeah.
Sand's expensive.
Yeah, I don't even remember how much it was, but I have the lead, or I have the source, and they'll do it. If I order it today, it'll be dumped in days, so they'll come out and dump it, and then,
Irrespective if we're gonna do that, I would recommend cut the grass out.
well, that's more difficult than you think, unless you have some ideas, because
So I do.
we chew it up,
I have an idea.
okay, yeah.
We can talk about that.
Believe me, that's a real problem with me, because, people complain about it, and no matter what you do, people think that we're just leaving it grow, because we like it, maybe it looks nice, we think it does, but no, I mean, that's a huge deal. We're in there a couple times a year, I have it chewed up, I didn't want to mention it, but it's, we're on it, but, what? A goat, we should get a goat. It could be like the mascot, the beach mascot.
Yoga on the beach.
It's not a bad idea. But,
Sometimes they like to get the sand after the beach is open.
That's
Beach attendants have been known to help distribute it, or they put it in big piles the kids love to climb down it.
no, I remember, yeah. Yeah, I remember throughout the years. And I think that's what it was,
And then eventually they get somebody, Chris Wozak or somebody comes spread it.
Yeah, but I don't think it was terribly expensive. I don't want to say how much it was. I think it was $500 to $700.
No, I'm sure it's more.
More than that?
Yeah.
I'll see. I never ordered it. I inquired about it, but then we held off. So I think-
The last I remember, it's certain kind of sand, they used to sell it out this way, they don't anymore, we were getting it from Chardon. And they bring in some big trucks with them. It was pretty expensive.
Yeah. Okay. I'll look into it.
Just the delivery
This
cost
delivery fee would be a lot.
coming from Chardon. And
Maybe
that
there's
place
other
in-
places by now, I don't know.
That place in Westfield doesn't have sand anymore?
They had that kind, but then they didn't have a certain kind you have to have.
I'll check my source, the source that was given to me. And if they're really expensive, then I'll shop around and see if we can get somewhere less expensive.
But it has to be a certain grade.
Yep.
There can't just be any sand. Like, I think down at Glory Glen, they do that brown sand, which is
Got dirt in it.
Yeah.
very dirty sand, where our sand is
Well,
nice.
that's one of the reasons why our beach is
That's
so
why
much
ours
better.
was a little more money, but yeah, it was.
It looks
Didn't
like
get
Frank
everybody.
Brothers, which is right out in Lodi, carries silica white sand, which is recommended for beaches. They're not that far away. And from what I remember, they
Just
normally
on
have decent prices and they're local.
So maybe, I know that we were getting it out that way and then they didn't have it anymore.
And where's this?
Frank Brothers,
Frank Brothers.
it's right on 83, right before you get to the outlet.
Brothers?
Frank,
Frank Brothers.
it's right on 83 before you get to the Lodi Outlet Mall, which isn't there anymore.
Okay.
I'll send you their website.
Yeah,
It works, yeah.
No, can't miss it,
Okay.
can't miss it.
It's on the west side of the road.
Mhm.
Apparently we've all been there, just not you.
What's that?
So apparently we've all been there, just not.
Isn't
I
that,
think I
Yeah.
would rock in my yard.
is that Frank Brothers across,
Right.
is that Frank Brothers across from Boyar's too?
No,
No,
that's.
Smith Brothers.
Frank Brothers, okay. He was one of them brothers.
Different Frank.
Different brother.
From a different mother.
Right, there you go.
Okay, you got anything else, Ken?
That's it. Anything else? No any questions? Compliments? Any compliments? No? Okay.
Okay, we'll go to streets.
I have nothing. We're going to take the big tree down. So Liz and Kathy can sleep at night. That's corner of, right there by the pickleball court.
Shakewood.
And then once that's down, we'll get going with the road project.
Okay. Law director?
Okay. I can't be here at meeting next month, June 9th. So I hope you'll excuse me. I can,
What do we want?
well, then I guess I'm done.
Excuse me.
I'll coordinate with Gary, any legislation, and send a report if there's anything to report.
Okay.
And I appreciate it. I have 5 cases to report on. They're all concluded pretty much. 2 of them were zoning charges against brothers who own a house who put up a temporary structure without a permit. They've each been found guilty and owe $294 court costs each, due June 6th. The next case is an older case. A defendant was convicted of persistent disorderly conduct, has paid $1,025 in court costs, still owes fine and costs of $352 due August 12th. Then the last 2 cases are a driveway fight where both defendants were convicted of persistent disorderly conduct, and they have fine and costs, or they paid fine and costs of $252. And that's all I've got to report.
Gary, finance?
This past Saturday, I distributed the bank reconciliation report for April, showing all accounts and balance. Any questions from council on bank reconciliation? May I have a motion authorizing council to sign off.
So move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. This Saturday, I distributed the end of October appropriations report, spending throughout April. Any questions, comments from council on spending? May I have a motion authorizing council to sign off.
So,
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. Tonight, I provided copies to the mayor and all members of council of the 2026 budget, along with instructions and the deadline for any changes. That deadline is on or before June 6th. I offered also offered, as I do every year, to meet individually or as a group if anyone needs assistance in reviewing or considering making changes to the budget as submitted. If there are no changes, then the budget I gave everyone will be the budget for 2026. Questions, comments from council?
This needs to get to you by June 6th, or any,
This is just going through my brain. Is that a public meeting? If you were to meet with them about the budget, is that a public meeting or
I
is
think it
that?
is.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. So you have to advertise it?
a day ahead at least, 24 hours.
Okay. I'm just curious. I don't care, but I'm just curious.
Yeah.
They were going to a special meeting. Right? Special meeting.
Last year, there
Yeah.
was a lot of concern about budget moving forward for this year.
Yes.
Do we need to be just as frugal and as concerned for next year?
Because we did not spend all the monies that had been appropriated last year, we're in pretty solid shape. And just as a comment to council, everyone on council knows exactly how much money is in each fund. That's in the monthly reports I give to you on the appropriations report. In the upper left corner of every appropriations report for every department is how much cash is sitting there for that department. Now, because the general fund funds actually most of the departments except for streets, we do a little bit for streets, but not as much. The paperwork I gave you tonight breaks down where all of your department account codes are. So everybody should be able to tie everything in together pretty straightforward. But if you have questions, if it's not clear enough to you, all you have to do is ask. Give me a call or I'll meet with you, whatever you want to do. Okay?
Thank you for all your work, by the way.
No.
This is a lot of work.
Thank you.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
A little bit separate to that, as a result of the budget meeting for streets, we had a special meeting. I'm trying to get the cash flow, monthly cash flow and monthly expenses tied together in a cash flow account. And then what's that left over, what the leftover is somewhat what we can spend on the WPC grants, but what's the cash going to be available that we can look at so we know what our live number is. And we don't get that from the UAN reports. They're more of a balance sheet report. So with the steep projects, in the past, we've been able to put cash down and get, put down 10 cents, get 90 cents. Now, the state's shifting that around a little bit. But we don't know what our cash position is, so we have to put down a loan or get a loan. It's a zero interest loan. So I'm trying to give us a better forecasting technique for cash available for these special type projects. I made it pretty far, but I just got busy and probably be another couple of months, but maybe that gives us an eyeball for Bud, because he had a lot of consternation about being able to pay for all the stuff that he really needs to get done.
True.
And relative to the street projects, but I'm sure you'll recall, last year I gave you some options that you could go ahead and proceed with streets. And because I'm very much aware of the street work that you want that has to get done. So obviously we'll work with you, and some of those monies can come out of the general fund. We just have to be cautious because again, the general fund funds all the other departments totally. So we have to be a little cautious. But our cash reserves are such that we definitely should be able to get some work going this year. Should not be a problem, in my opinion. So if anyone has any questions about how much cash is around and where it can go, again, just ask, and I can meet individually or as a group, whatever you'd like to do. Okay, other comments, questions about that 2026 budget? Okay. Some disappointing news. May 1st, I started to receive documentation relating to the 2022 and 2023 audit, with the final documentation received on May 2nd. The audit contained, for the first time ever, 8 non-compliance findings. And I advised the audit staff that I need to review and investigate those findings before I will sign off on the audit. And before sharing details with council, because I think there's gonna be some potential revisions in what they've written up. So in the 13 years I've done this, I've never had an issue like this. I can report and say there's nothing related to can't account for monies. No one's taken any monies, no one's misappropriated, so it's not that. It's more along procedures and things of that sort, which again, as I told the audit team, I'm going to review this before I sign off on it, because I do expect to challenge some of it. Maybe all of it, but I sort of doubt that. So you'll be hearing more from me on that, and as will the audit team. I asked NOPEC about using grant monies to pay for the electricity for the pole. Well, we already knew that that's okay to use those grant monies for that. Okay, as of the end of April, balance in the primary checking account, $407,554.59. Money market, $205,543.77. Star Ohio, $113,264.67. Total, $726,363.03. Thus our ability to do some street work if you want to move. Are there any questions or comments?
My comment would be, you have my unreserved confidence, but I would recommend at a minimum, we have our finance committee review the audit and your response to the audit at a minimum.
Okay.
If not a special meeting where we can kind of just have a better appreciation or understanding.
Sure.
Because you do a really good job. I'm amazed that they had that kind of a finding, but
It's probably a mistake. What are the chances?
Are they asking, it seems like they're asking for such strange things lately. Is that part of the problem that they want this kind of, like the one year, didn't they want all the applications for beach attendants, even the ones who were retired? And I don't think we had that. I don't think we had one.
Right. In all honesty, I don't recall that request. It very well might have happened. On some of the minor stuff that they ask for, I don't dwell on it too much. If it's readily available and it has to be presented to them, not an issue. Just go ahead and present it. This time on this audit, you might recall, they've had these records for like over 6 or nearly 7 months. Most audits, within a month or two, you got everything back and the report's done. They have acknowledged that there were some staffing issues on their side. So this may have contributed to what I'm hearing and seeing in documentation from them. If they change personnel partway through the audit, and this person looks at that, this person looks at this, it's hard to say. But they sent me like 87 pages of support, so I've got to review all that and see how it ties in exactly to this findings report, and then get back to them. But are you suggesting that we have this meeting before I respond to the auditors?
yes, please.
Okay.
And please understand, it's not that I have any lack of confidence in your ability.
No. There's no problem. There's no issue with that.
Well, if you get to explain to us all that's happening, we're much easier to support you. Not that we wouldn't, but it's easier if we understand why we're supporting.
Absolutely. Yep. And now committee reports, are those public reports or public meetings? Alan,
Committee meetings, yes.
if it's a finance committee meeting?
Yes.
Okay. So that will be published.
Yeah, but we haven't had any of those meetings like we used to. We used to have a lot of those where the committees would meet
Oh, I see.
and then they would take their minutes. They could maybe make a decision but it wouldn't be a decision, it'd be a recommendation. They wouldn't be allowed to make any kind of a decision.
Right.
And those meetings had minutes, but these guys don't have those meetings.
Okay. Well, we will have.
No offense, you just don't.
We'll have the finance committee meeting. That probably won't happen until June. just because to go through that documentation, plus I'm out of town for a while, so. Anywho, but I didn't want to hide that fact. I wanted to bring it up to you so you know what's going on, and that's where
Appreciate
we're at.
We trust you, Gary.
Appreciate that, thank you. Any other questions about the cash? Okay, that's all that I've got.
Okay, do we have any old business? Okay, then we'll go to the audience. Pam, welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Surely you have something.
Yeah, I do. So I wanted to say golf cart parade is gonna be on Sunday, May, what is that date? Is that the, 25th? That's my birthday, I think. Is that the
It's the 25th, yes.
25th, right? I put it in the wrong way, that's why I'm hesitating, and then I changed it, okay. Yeah, golf cart parade, ice cream social afterwards, it will meet at the village hall, 7 o'clock. Alan is gonna check, I think, with the fire department and see if we can have them.
Wait, the ice cream's gonna be at the village hall, is
I
that?
mean, village inn, they're meeting at village inn.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Chief
Okay.
Capital.
The ice cream's gonna be in the park.
And then our pot planning is gonna be, right now, I think, May 22nd on that Thursday. And, so we will have 32 pots all around the village, planting with hopefully deer-resistant flowers. We're going a different direction. Last year, they ate the petunias, so they're really, we have some calabria, which is kind of a petunia thing, only because when I got to the greenhouse, they didn't have what I ordered. And everything that I had ordered was all supposed to be, deer don't like them, so I had to regroup. But we're hoping that we've got lantana and makeup, which they didn't touch last year, and we're hoping maybe that's a good thing. So we'll see what happens. They'll be colorful until the deer eat them, so it is what it is. And the other thing, the garden plots next, I was gonna ask you something, but the garden plots, the garden is all done. We have 12 plots in there now instead of 10. They're all taken. It looks gorgeous. Debbie has done a beautiful job of getting everything together. It's all covered with black plastic right now so that we can plant into that. So it should stay very neat and orderly, and she is very adamant about the weeds over there, so it should be nice looking. And everybody in there now is really excited about it and are really anxious to get it planted. So I'm really excited for it to all come together. Debbie has worked all winter trying to plan for this and to get it all together. She's done a wonderful job of getting this up and running and hopefully deer-proof and, what do you call the guy under?
Go.
Groundhog. Groundhog guy, we're hoping we got him taken care of too, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Barb, is the electric on in the park?
Not yet.
Okay, I mean, we're not, Point Park, we're not ready for it yet, I just wasn't sure when it got turned.
No, I mean, I figured I would wait until we had some kind of announcement that there was gonna be our first event down there before I turn on power.
Yeah, I don't know.
No sense in paying for it if we're not gonna use
No,
it.
I mean, they're not gonna need it for the ice cream social, so. as far as I
If
know.
you, I don't,
Maybe you should get it turned
I
on
won't be
Memorial
there
Day
for
anyhow, just make
anything,
sure
but I
you
do
turn it on.
plan on doing some movie nights.
I would
So
say
once the
June,
weather
June.
is nice and warm enough.
that's what I was figuring by
Yeah.
Memorial Day, but I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, we don't have any events going on down there, so.
Yeah, but just in case, the
Right.
electric company, not that they would
If they're backed up or
screw us up,
something,
but you know,
yeah.
just in case.
Okay,
I mean, it's really like a flip of a switch. It's not a big deal. Probably do it myself.
You're on camera.
that's all I have.
Pam, just clarifying, the golf cart parade is Monday, the.
No, Sunday.
Sunday, the 25th,
Always on Sunday.
7 p.m.
And I have a graduation that day again. I was just terrible.
And Greg and Jill are playing,
In Columbus.
Greg
But
and
the
Jill,
only thing is at 9:30 in the morning. What's that?
Greg and Jill are playing that Memorial.
Oh, that's what the other thing, I was trying to think, thank you. Greg and Bill are playing Friday night, yeah, and I'm gonna be sending a pride thing out, which will also go out on the, I'm sure the newsletter, Claire's newsletter too. Greg and Jill are gonna be playing on Friday night, think at 7, as far as I know.
What's the date on that?
That would be the 23rd. That's the 23rd. Thank you. I knew there was something I was forgetting. I couldn't remember.
Okay, things are starting to happen. Pam's back.
Yeah.
Okay. Howard?
Well, that part takes on new meaning now,
I know.
Yeah.
though. Law changing.
Yeah.
No, I don't have anything,
Hot and ice cream.
thanks for everybody doing their job there.
Thank you. Kelly?
I have come up with 3 things. Thank you, always. You're like the best people. I've watched this on TV and people throw chairs at each other. You guys are so simple, civilized. The thing I wanted to share with you was, I wanted to ask Ken, driving by the green pond, do you already have those devices in there?
No, they're
It doesn't look as green as it was for some reason. It looks like a lighter color. I thought, well, are you doing something already? But maybe not. So that's one question. And the other thing I wanted to share is, Alan mentioned the Cross Point Church and Historical Society doing this combined thing on the 7th of June at Cross Point Church. And they need anybody that has any kind of, this is always the same old thing, but they're looking for raffles and auction prizes and baskets, and especially anything that has anything to do with Chippewa Lake Park. They're looking for, I know we've exhausted, but look in your basement and see if you have anything that somebody would want to bid on. Because they really hope to help the Historical Society, and every dime goes to them. So, and there will be a pig roast, and I don't think if there's any charge for it. Am I right, Alan? It is June the 7th, starting around 1-ish. That's when there's cornhole, but dinner is down near 5, and there's gonna be music, but it's at the church. But look in your basement for old stuff, if you have a basement, or in your attic.
Okay. Mark's grandson?
No.
Mark?
No.
Wow. Lisa?
About a month ago, we were realizing there was an issue with the website. They didn't change anything on the website, so all the information was fine. But they were at times redirecting people to some kind of goofy website. And so we got first we got Lindsay Brandenburg helped us put on a better security software. And then we connected with Hostmanus and they rebuilt the system for us. So I want to thank the council for paying for that because I think it would have taken me hours and I might not have done as good a job as they did in 2 hours. So I've been watching it and we don't seem to have any more issues.
Good. I know I went on it one time and it put me on one of them
Yeah.
virus scam
If you
things.
go back out and go back in, it would be fine, but I was very worried that somebody would hit something.
Well, thanks for all the work you're doing on the website. We appreciate it. Allison?
I just want to voice a concern I have over the swamp soon-to-be pond. My thoughts about that is, my understanding is the ground under the water is just muck, like quicksand kind of yuck that you're gonna sink into. Tell me if I'm incorrect.
Don't know, haven't been in it.
No one's been in it.
The way that it has, but someone reported that at one point, that it's just muck. The way that it's looked for the last however many years we've been here, no one would be tempted to go into it. Now, if it gets cleared, I'm a little concerned that people may be tempted to wade and or swim in it. So I don't know if there's some regulation about no wading, no swimming. It's just not thought. It's been in the back of my head for a long time as you've been talking about this over and over.
Well, years ago when it wasn't quite looking that bad, it looked okay, and I still don't recall people ever going in it. Ron, maybe occasionally you'd see somebody stand there with a fishing pole, but that would be about it.
Put quicksand, put big signs for quicksand.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
Alligators.
Yeah, or put alligators or something.
I think, like, according to what Ken reported, it's like 2 inches per month. So it's gonna take a year or two before it really,
That'll be 2 feet a year.
so, I mean, well, if it runs you
That's-
around, if it runs
And
you
everybody's
around.
got meters, let's go check it out.
Yeah.
And as long as people don't dump stuff in there, but yeah, quicksand sign would be effective.
It's,
Unless they come over
I
like a lawnmower and throw it in there.
Making signs anyhow.
Along with the no dumping
No
sign,
dumping,
could
no
we get a no
jumping.
trespassing sign? Because if there is a sign, something that does at least sign.
Speaking of that,
Yeah, but you're
part,
right.
part one of that I mentioned, do you think we should get, like, now we have electricity, cameras on our equipment
I'm
over
gonna get
there?
locks to put on the breaker boxes, but,
Okay, I'm afraid if somebody might try to sabotage our equipment possibly. I just thought if it's easy, probably not easy, but if it's something for.
well, I do know that the neighbor has a lot of cameras, I've been told, so I'm pretty
Okay.
sure that they're watching it.
So you
but
could check
that's not
Facebook
bad.
and see if he sees anything, because he won't tell us.
What's that?
Yes,
Check Facebook, see if he sees anything, because he certainly won't tell us.
Right. But I'm a little concerned, I mean, equipment's expensive and, you know, vandalism possibly, I don't know.
Is it close to the
Why don't you see
shore?
how it looks once it's up and go from there?
Yeah,
Probably should have something on it.
yeah.
I mean, getting
Is it
cameras,
close?
getting
Is it close to
cameras,
the
well,
shore or is it in the water? If it's in the
Oh,
water.
no, the two, big pieces are going to be on land, you know, near the electrical source, like there's gonna be some gravel down, and they're gonna be, permanent. And the thing runs, like, it's not something that you're gonna put in and then take out every year, it's gonna run, year round, but the chemicals only go in during the summer months. So,
maybe like a fenced-in area to protect those or something, because we
maybe,
can put cameras over there, and then we would have to test the Wi-Fi from the building to see if it would reach that far to save images. That would help catch the people who are dumping over there too, but, I mean, you can put cameras up over there, but we'd have to have some kind of a system that.
you can put trail cams up, you don't need Wi-Fi.
Right, you could have trail cams,
yeah,
which
just
some
a
of those
thought,
are
you know.
battery operated, some of them are Wi-Fi, so.
Power, just wire it up.
Allison, we're getting kind of far afield from your concern.
All that would help.
I think your concern is on the mark. And I have three little guys that just immediately popped in my head as soon as you said that. So I would recommend as a council, we take a proactive approach, not only to secure our equipment, but to provide marginal safeguards to keep any inducement
There's no swimming sign or,
to stick your foot in the water.
yeah.
Clearly, we don't want that to happen.
You know, there used to be a pier there. I don't know if any of you guys were on council
Yeah.
when we applied for that dock over there for handicaps, remember that? And we got it, and then they took it away.
Yeah.
I was just come up there, we got a beach down
I
there.
don't know where the property lines are, but I noticed at the back of the property, there's something that's large and blue. At first I thought it was a tarp, but it actually kind of looks like it might be metal. I don't know if
Chippewa
we need
Roofing owns that.
I'm saying, I don't know where the property lines are. It might be on our property, it might be on their property, but I think it would be worth taking a look back here. It looks like somebody might be dumping some stuff in the back. So, I don't know.
I think that's.
Yeah, we're not the exclusive owner of the pond.
Oh, okay, so,
But that back strip is owned by another entity.
okay.
Okay, Andy, did you have anything?
No, not tonight.
Tom?
Yeah, I'm just curious, what the plans are for spending the money that's coming in from the boats and the docks. Where's that money gonna go?
Right now, it's in, an account that is just that money. It hasn't been spent anywhere because nobody's come up with any ideas yet of what to do with it. I mean, if somebody wanted to replace the whole wall, we're gonna have to collect a lot of money for that. So we assume, I mean, it's in the general fund. It's not really earmarked for anything, but we, pretty much assumed that we'd spend it on parks instead of, say, fixing a pothole.
Well, I don't know about that.
I was thinking,
Well, maybe a
I
pothole,
like
we don't
that
know the
idea.
street
I
guys,
was
but
thinking that when we were.
we haven't really gotten any kind of good suggestion for it.
If sand is as
I
expensive.
think we
as
have,
think it
what,
is,
about 13 or
that would be a good
14,000
for
from
it.
last year, and then whatever we're gonna get this year, which would be pretty much the same, not a little more.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is it used to be 35 years ago. When we had to do anything with the lake, like put up the gates and do the keys and all the rest, we had to justify the fee that we did for that. And back then, we couldn't let boat owners or dock owners, for instance, the council couldn't make any money on that. They had to say the key was worth this, the sticker was worth this, and that's what we charged.
Right, and I think we still
So
stick pretty close
apparently,
to that
this
with
fee that was created, there wasn't a justification for it. In other words, there wasn't plans for the money to come up. with
We
that.
are selling those stickers for the park district, not for our village.
But you're just keeping.
And
the
we are
money.
allowed
But
to
the village is keeping the money.
We are allowed to keep the money in return for selling the stickers. Where I remember the boat ramp stuff was, I remember the year they were taking the collection up to fix the boat ramp. Everything was strictly earmarked for the boat ramp. This money is really not. It's just for the general fund. And, if somebody comes up, nobody's really come up with an idea of anything to do with it.
I got ideas.
So I just did my permit, I'm sending you a check, the village. I'm not sending it to the parks, I have to send a separate check to the parks. So.
But we don't sell, whatever you're paying the park for, we don't sell that.
I understand that.
We're
but I
selling
sent you a
stickers
check-
for them,
I sent
and they're
you a
letting
check
us
for
keep the money.
$143, which included the boat, my dock, the new boat ramp key, and all the rest.
So we're keeping track of those funds completely separate. The 75 for the park, the sticker for the boat, to dock your boat is actually, that's what Ken is reporting, is completely separate from what we are collecting for the beach passes and the keys. The beach passes, the keys, all of those monies that we'd always had collected in the past are still going towards the same thing. We're not making any money off of that. It's paying for the keys, it's paying for the sticker. There's no profit to that whatsoever. And they are actually reported when Ken says each month how much has come in. They're keeping tabs on it separately.
Okay, so that fund is building up, so last year you got $14,000 from the park?
It was like 14.
In 2024, total collections for
The docks.
boat passes and then for the dock stickers, total combined $21,745. $78.85 was what we typically sell for our beach stuff. The other $13,860 was for the boat sticker, or for the dock sticker.
Docking stickers, docking programs, whatever.
So those were the two amounts earned last year.
So this year, the prices would change. People that were paying 10 will be paying 75, and the people who are paying 150 will be paying 75. So as a $10 person, I'm saying, well, that didn't work out well for me, but it did work out well for others.
Well, I don't understand why, I heard about the 150 grand, and I don't understand why the parks even did that. It wasn't, what Tom James had in mind when we talked to him way back when. But that's beside the point. I think my point is, you start to hear things like, we're gonna use that money to improve the break wall and stuff like that.
Nobody knows what we're using the money for, because
I
nobody's
understand.
ever asked us.
But then why come together and determine what you're gonna use this money for, to determine the fee, to justify the fee?
We do
don't
not
set the
set
price on the fee. The park district did.
No, I was told that the committee did that.
The park district's committee, that had nothing to do with council.
I understand that. That was the committee in each one of which we had representatives on. And she told me that she complained about the fee because they were not justifying it, but that committee came up with the fee.
That's correct.
That has nothing to
So-
do with us, unfortunately, because I disagree with the fee as well, because I was only paying $10 last year.
I was too, I'm not happy about it.
Well-
And it's obvious everybody was paying $10 is not happy, and everybody was paying $150 probably is really happy.
I'm
You have
happy.
to take that up.
I'm real happy.
I'm not opposed to what's going on. My problem is that collecting money for docks and boats only and have that money go to a general fund or go someplace else, I think is wrong. And you can't improve anybody's property along the lake because that's privately owned.
That's correct. Now Glory Glens collects that fee, and they use it for their beachfront, but they've got a whole different.
They have a whole different story. Actually, the village only has one place that could help boat owners, and that's the ramp.
The rain?
Ramp. And it's ironic that the citizens back then put the ramp in on their own money. The village had nothing to do with it.
Well, I'm sure sooner or later, somebody will come up with something that might be nice for the lakefront that everybody can enjoy.
Would the sand be something you would take it to that expensive?
I kind of looked at it that way. I looked at it like that money that's coming in is going towards like parks, and your sand, and you're paying for the beach tenants, you know, paying for a lot of the cost of doing business. So
I
mean,
think
kinda
what,
looked
I
at
think
it
what
where they went
Tom is
that
trying to
direction.
say is that we're using our boats and we're putting our docks in the water, and he feels maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, that money should somehow go to benefit people that are using their boats and putting docks in the water.
Well, somebody come up with some ideas. Nobody
Right, am I
has.
right?
Lower the fee until you come up with the idea.
Not our
We
fee
didn't
to lower.
dictate the
Yeah.
fee.
Then go back to the committee and tell them to redo it.
You're at the wrong meeting.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
understand that, but, you know, that's.
I mean, I don't have a vote, so I could care less one way or the other, but you're at the wrong meeting. The whole point of this with the park district is they didn't want you out there anyways.
Yeah, I disagree with that too, but.
And they could
Fine, that's
easily,
fine.
Tom, they could easily keep selling their own stickers to keep all the money.
Yeah,
It's
you
just-
don't have
it's-
anything.
You know, we are selling, essentially to the same people with our, keys and, you know, boats, our own boat stickers. And our criteria, as you know, has always been you just live in, well, at the time it was one of the two villages, now it's one, you just live here, basically, just like for the boat sticker. So now the park district has also changed that
I understand the whole system.
to be like ours, so they are now not looking into the deeds anymore as far as lake rights and the deeds, which was also another mess. So in fact, we do have the money, it's in a fund, we're open to ideas, we haven't heard any ideas. And in reality, they've guaranteed the docks for everybody, they say they're not taking them away, they didn't make people all have floating docks, they did. Basically, the citizens won this round and the water ski won. So I think everybody should just relax and, like I said, if somebody comes up with a good idea for the money, we can do it, whatever it is.
Just going, keeping it separate, that's fine.
And I would think that, wouldn't necessarily, maybe just something, might be just too general, say something from one of the parks, or in one of the parks, or around the parks. So, anyhow, sooner or later, somebody will think of something that's a good idea. The wall's not a bad idea, but it's an expensive idea, so we'd have to save up for a while for that one.
And that's private property as
A
well.
lot of that's private property, as you know, Tom, the ins and outs of the wall. So that's that.
We did just purchase well, we didn't purchase it, it was gifted to us, but, you know, our new dock and kayak launch, but.
Well, thank
That was
That
paid for.
that was
not
an
paid.
inheritance, that
That
was a
was an
gift to the
inheritance, that was a
village,
gift.
from an inheritance out of that kayak launch.
But, you know, as for the residents getting use out of it, I don't know. I guess council they could have took that money and put it elsewhere, you know, for the inheritance. Instead of putting it, you know, towards the ramp. Kayak launch.
Well, thanks
I
for.
mean, you can justify your mind, I guess.
Just my opinion.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying though.
Greg, did you have anything?
Good, thank you.
Okay, is there any new business?
I was walking the dogs and somebody stopped me to tell me about something about the website, and now I can't remember what.
Okay, Barb, well said.
Thank you.
So if you're out
Sound
there
like you're getting
listening,
older like that.
send me a text. Rex,
Okay, one more motion.
adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.